You're watching HCAM's educational channel, where you can find the latest educational content from our community. HCAM helps provide educational content produced by students, faculty, and staff of the Hingham Public School System. For more Hingham community updates, tune into HCAM's government channel on Comcast 9 and Verizon Fios 30, and HCAM's public channel on Comcast 97 and Verizon Fios 31.
The town of Hingham has come together, and we're going to be spreading the word about going solar, and we're working with Direct Energy Solar, which is going to help us save a lot of money on different households' homes and protect themselves from future rising costs of living. We will be going through how solar works, a little bit about the program, some of the incentives involved, what the process looks like of getting installed with solar, and answering any questions that people want to have answered. And then people will have the chance to sign up for a free consultation, because everybody's home is a little different as far as the finances go.
The Direct Energy Solar team and the Solar Hingham team, we've been meeting for months. In fact, we started meeting more than a year ago, and we've been planning events, doing marketing and advertising and community outreach to get this event started.
The difference is very little. So as far as what a day-to-day life change is, we make it very easy for people to go solar, as we do everything for them to make the transition. You just keep using electricity like you normally would, but financially and environmentally, it's a huge difference.
All homes are not solar ready. They might be too shady, or their roof might be pitched in the wrong direction.
It is not for everyone. Only 4 out of 10 people can actually go solar, which is surprising to most people. First, your home has to qualify, so it has to be facing south, it can't be in the middle of the woods, and has to have a good structure for it. And then secondly, you have to qualify.
Getting more homes using solar would be beneficial to everybody in the world, as well as to the Hingham residents. In addition, Direct Energy Solar is giving us the benefit of installing a system on one of our municipal buildings. So it may be one of the town schools or the library or something like that, and we'll get a free system if enough people sign up in our town.
So we have a couple more events coming up. One is going to be a Taste of Hingham, where we're all going to get together and do a little bit of a tasting, and it'll be a really fun event where people can learn more.
You can go to Solar Hingham's website and you can find out more information, and it will link you to Direct Energy Solar. If you fill out an inquiry form, we can have one of the consultants get back to you and give you more information about whether your home is solar ready or not.
We're just really excited to be here as a part of Hingham and helping everyone save with solar.
Hi there. I'm Janice McPhillips. I live in town here, and I know a lot of you. I see a lot of familiar faces, friends and neighbors. So welcome. Thanks for coming. This is the Solar Hingham presentation. Solar Hingham is an initiative of 350 Mass South Shore Node, which is a climate action organization. Many of you may have heard of them. Many of you may be members of that organization. Solar Hingham chose Direct Energy Solar, who is here tonight, as our solar installer partner, because they have a lot of experience working to install solar panels in towns that have municipal light plants. Direct Energy Solar has had successful programs in Concord, Wellesley, Belmont, and most recently in Hull. And we have a Hull resident here to talk about that, not a solar Hull customer, but someone who's gone solar in Hull a long time ago. We'll talk about that, her experience. All of those towns, Concord, Wellesley, Belmont, and Hull, are served by municipal light plants. So tonight our presentation will be given by Will McCauley, who is a Direct Energy Solar sales manager. So thank you, Will.
Thank you. So, good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out this evening. As Janice mentioned, I am Will McCauley with Direct Energy Solar. I would like to give a huge thanks to Janice McPhillips and Monica Herman for all of their help in coordinating this program. We could not do it without them. Also would like to give a shout out to Laura Burns and all of the volunteers that are making this happen tonight. Going around the room, there are several people with our company here tonight that you can speak to. First, let's talk about Tim D'Souza. Tim, do you want to? Tim and John Hartman helped. They are helping with on the community program side of it, as well as Lindsay Williams, who is saving the day here with the projector. All right. So we have Justin Hellhake, who is the general manager of the local Taunton location, Isaac Paulman. And then we have a cast of solar consultants who are going to be the ones working with you and helping you to understand just how much you can save with solar, and recommending a financial deal that will be in your best interest given your needs. So going around the room, we have Taylor Yeager, Steve Cornell, Liz Thompson, Artie Crocker, and your very own Steve Swindell, who I think stepped out for. Oh, there he is. So Steve lives in the town of Hingham. And a big thanks to Liz and Artie for helping spearhead this program. They were instrumental in getting it put together for you. Okay. So every 88 minutes, there is enough sunlight that reaches the Earth's surface to power the world for a year. Every month, more energy from the sunlight reaches the surface that is stored in all proven oil, coal, and natural gas reserves in the world. It's a pretty mind-blowing couple of statements there, and just shows how vast of a resource that we have, and that it is the wave of the future for us. This map is really interesting. We usually don't think of Massachusetts being a particularly sunny state, but according to this, we actually get 90% of the sun that Florida does. And you'll notice that Germany is highlighted here. Germany is the largest producer of solar energy worldwide. As far as a country, they are the only country that actually exports solar power. And they get about the same amount of sunshine as Alaska. So solar is surely a viable resource for us here in the state. So the idea of solar is that you are currently paying thousands of dollars in both utility bills and your federal taxes. So the idea of solar is that you're going to take the same money you're paying anyway, and you're going to reinvest that in your home. So with one of our zero down programs, you will pay about the same, possibly less, to go solar, but you will be building value into your home instead of the money going away and not seeing any return on that. For those that are interested in a good investment, it offers a higher than stock market return on average with substantially less risk, because you have it is attached to your roof, and you have a $19 billion company backing that. So we make it very easy for you to make the transition. We install, insure, maintain, and monitor the system for 20 years. We have somebody that walks you through the process hand in hand, and makes it as easy as possible for you to make the transition. You just keep using electricity like you do today. You'll just be getting the power from a cleaner, greener source on your roof, and will save thousands of dollars in the process. Okay, so why go solar now? Utility rates are rising. Now, you're very fortunate to be a part of the Hingham Municipal Lighting Plant, as your rates are about 25% lower than the public utilities. So many of your friends and neighbors, many of your friends and neighbors that may, in other towns that may be with National Grid or Eversource, are paying substantially higher rates. that are increasing faster. So you do have a little bit of protection there. But in all, we do expect energy to go up in the future in some fashion there. So solar, the cost of solar power will never go up. You lock in at whatever the payment would be on that, and you're protected from anything rising from there, working for free energy after the system is paid off. So there are several incentives that are available. One of the bigger incentives, which is an income you'll receive, which I'll talk a little more on later, is from the state of Massachusetts. That program will be coming to an end next year. So in order to take advantage, to go solar, it's much more financially beneficial for you to do that this year if this is going to be a good fit. Next year there will be a replacement program, but many of the people in municipalities will not be able to take advantage of them if their municipality does not decide to take part in the program. We are not sure if that would be an option or not with Hingham at this point. The financial benefits I already discussed is that many people have looked at solar in the past, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and it wasn't right at the time. But it's cost them thousands in bills that they would have saved had they already pulled the trigger on that. We're obviously making a big impact in controlling our future costs of living. All right, so I've talked about incentives a little bit. I'd like to dive a little further into that. So the first incentive you're going to receive is the federal income tax credit that is equal to 30% of the total installed cost. This is dollar for dollar savings on your taxes, so it's not like a tax write-off where you would save a portion. If say the system is about $30,000, just throwing a number out there, it would be about $9,000 that you would get off of your federal income taxes. You also would receive a $1,000 income tax credit from the state of Massachusetts. So it would be $10,000 on a $30,000 system, just as an example. And we highly recommend that you speak with your CPA on how to best take advantage of that. I spoke about the income associated with solar panels. So the idea of SRECs, or solar renewable energy credits, is that you're paid twice with solar. So you're paid the first time with your electric savings. You're paid a second time for the environmental bragging rights. So we make it very easy for you to monetize those. We offer free brokerage, selling them once a year, and with some of our financial products, we can even offer it as a monthly income. So you will receive a good amount of money, over $10,000 on average, from the state of Massachusetts, which will help go towards paying for your panels. There is no sales tax on this, and you will not realize increased property taxes, even though your home will appreciate in value. So if you think of it this way, if you have 2 homes on the street that are exactly the same, one has solar and one does not, and a homeowner is looking to buy the property, if you had the choice between buying a home without solar, where you're paying a couple $1,000s per year, or you could buy a home with solar, which had very little cost of power, you would obviously want to live in the one that was a little bit cheaper to live in and would be willing to pay a little bit of a premium because it's cheaper to live in that home. Your home, you will realize a little bit of appreciation. You will not realize increased taxes on that. So the additional value of the home will not be taxable on your property taxes. There is one of our multiple financing options that we have available. We'll offer some subsidy if you are in a specific income tax bracket, and that is something that you can discuss a little further with your solar consultant when you meet with them, if that would be a good fit for you or would be applicable. We do have full net metering. So what that means is that if you are producing power during the day and you are not using as much, you're actually going to be sending power back out onto the grid, and your meter is going to spin backwards, which I think we can all agree is pretty cool. You will get full value for that up to 100% of your usage. So that will help you save for times like, say, at night when the system is off and you are using power. You'll still get the full amount for that. And then lastly, there is a bill credit that you may be able to take advantage of with this. It's a very generous incentive that is offered by the Hingham municipality. And this is up to $5,000 that would be credited on your bill. So not everybody can go solar. Most people cannot cover their entire bill. And so this would help go toward any remaining bill that is available. So that is not going to be in the proposal when you meet with your solar consultant, as that is based on your consumption, which if it fluctuates would not be accurate. So this is something that your consultant will discuss with you and give you an idea of what the additional savings would be. But that is an exciting additional incentive that most people cannot take advantage of. Okay. So a little about our company. Our company was founded by 3 individuals that had a dream of bringing a better customer experience to the solar industry at a time when solar was just getting off the ground and it was a very contractual based business. We like to be more accurate and give you the most up-to-date information. So that's why we have so many seasoned consultants to help you along. Most of the consultants that we have in the room today that you would be working with have at least 2 years of experience in the field. We will ask you questions when we sit down with you in the home, just to get a better understanding of your position, of where you sit, and make a professional recommendation based on those needs that you have to help you save with your solar panels. We are a local company with large backing, so we are located right out of Taunton in the local area, and can easily, if you were to have the very rare situation come up where you needed us to take a look at your panels, we could send somebody out quickly to take advantage of that. We are backed by a $19 billion company, which is extremely important to you, because it gives you the peace of mind that we are going to be around to service your panels if something were to go wrong over the next 20 years. It's very rare, but good to know that we are there to honor that warranty. All right, so what makes us different at Direct Energy Solar? Well, I already alluded to our free brokerage. So that is the income you're going to receive. We make it very easy for you, and we broker the SRECs for you at no cost. With any other company, you would have to pay a nominal fee, just like you have to pay a fee with a stock broker. So that enables you to have more income with us. We do have multiple financing options. We may not go through all of them with you, as we have different things that we can offer you, but we want to make it as easy as possible. So we generally will ask you questions to best understand your needs and then make a recommendation based on that. You will have free online monitoring, which is really cool. So you can actually pull up the online monitoring on your phone. There's an app for that. And you can see if, how your panels are producing, how much it's produced this week. And it'll even give you fun facts like you've produced enough power to power Gillette Stadium for a day, or you have offset enough carbon footprint equivalent to planting 2 acres of trees, right? So it's pretty cool information to watch. All of our installations are performed, and everybody you work with from Direct Energy Solar will be an employee. And that's important that we've done all the background checks as they are going to be in your home. They're going to do top-notch work for you. Quality and customer experience is paramount with our company. We have customer care, so we actually have a customer care division which can answer your needs as quickly as possible. And you also will have your solar consultant, the sales managers, project manager, et cetera, which will be there if you were to have any questions or concerns. We have the best warranties in the industry. So many companies have 5 or 10 years or so. We offer a 20-year warranty, which is important that you're covered bumper to bumper. If something goes wrong, we will be there to take care of any issues if the rare issue were to arise. And not only that, we guarantee the power. So if your system were to ever dip below 90% of what we say it's going to produce, we would actually cut you a check, and we have that in writing for you, which you won't find with any other company out there. We did a survey and a study and analysis after we did Solarize Andover a couple years ago, and we actually found that our systems produced on average 105% of what they said, of what we said it would produce. So our numbers are conservative, so usually it overproduces what we say. Okay, so how does solar work? Well, the panels will turn the sunlight into a direct current that is changed into alternating current with something we call an inverter. Many companies use a central inverter, which is like a cabinet-sized box they'll install on the side of your home. That we use a higher quality technology, which has a small one that goes under each panel. And the warranty is much better on those. It's 25 years. So after the power is turned into to AC, you can use it in your home, and if you're producing more than you're consuming, it will go back out onto the grid, spinning your meter backwards. So then at the end of the month, you would be charged the net amount on that. All right. Okay, so as I mentioned before, not everybody can go solar. Actually, only 4 or 5 out of 10 people can go solar. So first, your house has to qualify. We can't be in the middle of the woods or needing to redo your roof or things like that. Could make it so that you can't go solar. What we look for is a south-facing roof, but it could be due east or due west. As well. Ideal is south. We're looking for a little shade, and then also we will have to work around any obstacles. So if you have dormers or any kind of vents, skylights, things of that nature, we will have to work around those on the roof. But a good number of homes can go solar. We perform custom designs, so depending on your pitch of your roof, how steep it is, which way it's facing, if it's due south or east or west, and how big your roof is, depends on how many panels we can put in and how much that system is going to produce, and we compare those to how much electricity you're currently using. So everybody's system is going to be a little bit different. So this is kind of the general overview of some information on solar, but you would want to sign up for one of our free consultations to understand exactly how much you can save on your roof. So what happens after you decide, you meet with one of our consultants and you are excited that you're going to save 20 or 30,000 over the next 20 years? What happens next when we move forward? So the The first part will be we will send out one of our project managers who will meet with you. They'll take a little closer look at your roof and the electrical just to make sure your home is solar ready. Then we will do all of the permitting, paperwork, everything for you to make this as easy as possible. The system will go up on the roof about 90 days after we move forward, as we have to wait for all of the permits and interconnection agreement to come back approved. The install is very quick and easy. It's generally 1 to 3 days. So that would be the physical installation as well as tying everything up. And then after that, it may be 2 or 3 weeks or so until they can swap out the meter with the utility. And at that time, you would be solar powered. So your timing is great with this, as we have summer coming up. So with this program kicking off, you can have your system installed in the summertime when the power is at its maximum. That's the best producing months out of the year. So this is Jacqueline Kroll. She has gone solar and been enjoying the benefits of solar. So we're going to let her share a little bit about her experience of going solar in Hull. So,
thank you. Hi everybody, how you doing? Again, my name is Jackie Kroll. I'm your neighbor in Hull, and Direct Solar just came to Hull last couple months ago, and started doing solar in Hull, which was wonderful. Unfortunately, I missed out on them because I went to solar in 2013. So I went with a different company. However, it was just a really wonderful experience. The company I went with, was Next Step Living, which unfortunately has gone out of business. So what was said about this being a really strong company is really important, because you need somebody that's going to stand behind your product. And these folks have helped me. So they're a great company. I've just had nothing but great luck with them so far. But I had my solar installed back in 2013, and it really pretty much went every way, just the way they're telling you it goes. I have all of my facts and figures here down to the penny to what I paid for my system, and getting that 30% back on your federal taxes is so spectacular. Until you get a tax refund like you've never had before. It's great because in order to install that system, they'll give you like a same as cash loan, and that's how you get the product. And they install it, and then you just can pay off the balance, or you can pay it off over years. It's worked out really well because I then, after that, installed what's called Mitsubishi mini splits, because my house is so old, it's ductless. And on those mini splits, I can either air condition or heat my house with my electric. So I can actually heat my entire house and air condition it and not pay a dime for it, as well as all the other electrical things that you use it for. So the whole experience has been overly positive. You know, it was tough for me in Hull back in 2013. Hull didn't have the wonderful things that Hingham is offering you folks. I'm telling you, I want to put my house on wheels and roll it to Hingham. I'm serious. The $5,000 credit, they're on board. They're behind this whole project. It's wonderful. Hull didn't have anything in place, so it was a little trickier for me getting started. I was only the third person in Hull that went on solar, and I had a little bit of a difficult time, but regardless of that, I would tell you overall it's been a super, super positive experience. Again, had a great deal of help. Adi was wonderful. Last year, my system stopped sending information into the monitoring system, and that's how that monitoring system sends that information into SREC, and that's how you get your credits. So all of a sudden I get this email, your system's not producing, or if it's producing, we're not getting the information. And now I'm out of luck because Next Step Living went under. So I called up Adi and I'm like, Adi, you have to help me. I don't know what to do. Artie actually on his own time came over to my house and figured out it was an internet connection, got me back up and running. So I said to Artie, I'm coming with you guys. I'm signing up with you guys. You know, you guys are really great and you've been very helpful to me. But overall, I'll tell you, it was a positive experience, and if anyone had any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer anything that you might want to know. You know, everything I heard up here is wonderful. You stole everything I wanted to say. Another thing, though, I did want to mention is if you need a new roof or you want to update your electrical, you definitely want to do it now, because when you do that, you will get 30% of the cost of those things back. So the year I went into solar, I also happened to have done my roof that year. It was just a fluke. And my roof I put on was $6,000. I got $1,800 back. I had no idea that was coming. It was like a bonus. And then my electrical panels were very close to being fully used, and so if I upgraded my electrical, I would get 30% of that cost. So it's a great way to like get some stuff done and get at a really good price. So I happen to luck out on that. I don't have a very large electrical bill. My bill is about $60 a month. So a lot of people said to me, why did you do this? $60 a month, why would you even do this? Because that's $700 in a year in my pocket. Why would I give that up? I win because I don't pay. Company wins, we keep them in business, but most importantly, the planet wins because we're not doing terrible emissions into the air. It's just, you know, it's a great way to help the planet with all of the emissions and stuff that we put in the air anyway. It's great and it's helpful. You win, they win, everybody wins. Plus it was free. It ended up being free. I paid approximately $27,000 for my system. I got about $10,000 back. Now these are not exact figures. If we have any math whizzes in the audience, they go, that doesn't work. And I'll get about $12,000, $13,000 back on my SRECs. And in the end, this system will probably cost me about $1,500, but not even then, because every year I don't pay $700 for my electric. In 2 years, I've broken even. I'm actually making money right now doing this. And the SRECs are ending, I think this year or early next year. So if you're gonna do it now. Get it for free. Why pay for it? Government's gonna give it to you, you should take it. So, as you said, your rates are locked in. Rates will go up. We're lucky, both Hull and Hingham are municipalities. But as you said, you can be on some other electric company where your rates could be going through the roof. And I'm locked in. It doesn't matter what happens to the rates. You know, everyone's like, oh, the rates are going up. I'm like, yeah, whatever. It does not affect me because it's free. So that's a wonderful thing. The online monitoring is really fun. It's the God's honest truth. I love to go out and look at my system and see if it's a really sunny day, what did I produce? I like to keep Hull Light honest. I look to see what they bill me. I look to see what I monitor. And then I make sure it works. So it's great, and it's easy to read, and you said there are fun things out there. It's great. That's, I think, pretty much, you know, pretty much everything I have to say, but if anyone wants to ask me anything, oh, and by the way, the install took 1 day. 1 day. It was incredible. Then they came out and they turned it on. It was the easiest thing I've ever done. I have the old system, so I have that big box on the side of my house that you guys won't have, but that's okay. It looks nice. It's attractive. The panels are beautiful. I actually think my panels are beautiful. You don't really, it's funny, they're so nice and flat to the roof that you don't really see them. I actually have to point them out to people. They're like, oh yeah. And overall a great thing, good for you, good for the environment. So.
Thank you. All right, thank you, Jacqueline. So now we're going to go over a few frequently asked questions. So the first one, what happens when the power goes out? So the system will actually automatically shut down as a safety precaution, because if you're producing more power than you're using, then you're still sending power back out onto the grid. And if somebody's working on the lines, that could be a safety hazard. So they do shut down automatically when the power is down. However, once the system is back up, the microinverters will sense that it's back on and turn back on for you, so you don't have to worry about flicking a switch or anything. And fortunately, we're not out of power very often, right? What happens if I sell my home? So being that you're going to own the panels and you're going to be receiving all the incentives and everything, it is a very easy process to transfer. So the warranties and production guarantees do transfer. And it's a very seamless situation. So if you were to still owe anything on the term loan, if you decide to do one of our zero down programs, that would just be paid off at closing if you would like, or the new homeowner could pick up the payments on that. Should I replace my roof before I install? Well, that depends. So if you have a new roof, absolutely not. If it's getting toward the very end of its life and you're thinking you should replace it in the next year or two, that may be something to heavily consider. The good news is that once the panels go on, it does extend the life of your roof. Before I got into the solar industry, I thought it was the wind, the rain, the hail that would degrade the roof fastest. It's actually the sun baking it. And being that the solar panels are going to be on the south side of your house, that's the one that gets the most sun, so it will extend the life of your roof slightly. Do solar panels require maintenance? For the most part, no. The beautiful thing of solar is it's renewable, but there's no moving parts. Even our microinverters are solid state, so there's very little that can go wrong. Please do not get on the roof and try to scrape off some snow. If we happen to get some storms, it'll come off by itself there and melt. So there's really very little you need to do there. What happens when it snows? So the panels actually will produce a little bit if there's a couple inches or so on the panels, and once they will heat up just slightly. And being that it's tempered glass, the snow will slide right off of your roof. So the only thing you have to concern yourself with there is if there's anything under where that snow is falling. If it's above a doorway or above something that you would be concerned about, such as a driveway, you don't want the snow falling on your car, we do have snow guards that would help protect that from happening. And finally, what happens if I'm one of the first 20 people to go solar? Well, we have a large discount for the first people to go solar. One person is already actually taking advantage of that before the program even kicked off tonight. And we have 19 other spots that you will receive $500 off of your system when you decide to move forward. If you decide to get one of our free solar consultations in the month of April, you will also receive a $50 Amazon gift card, whether or not you decide to move forward if solar's right for you. So with that, I'd like to open it up. If anybody else has some questions, sir?
So Jackie is talking about her house.
Mm-hmm.
So if you took her house, okay, or some house similar to that, can you walk through the numbers and tell us what the payback would be? And then also tell us what the payback would be if the SRAC was not available.
We can give you ballpark figures on that. Steve, with the deal you put through,
right here,
Okay. Do you happen to have those numbers offhand, by chance?
I don't know the specific numbers.
Just overall.
Payback, for me, it's about 4 years. This was excellent.
Okay.
But can you give us the specifics on what item? Like, for example, you spend $27,000, right? You get $10,000.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, Steve, do you have that customers, or do you have the financials on that? He came prepared. All right. Let's give him a hand. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so the total investment is $19,594.
So the reason it's not as big as some of the others is because my roof is not really huge.
Okay.
I only have 5.25 kilowatts.
Okay.
That's super big. But the smaller the system, the larger the max tax credit is. And also
Right.
the larger the Hingham Municipal Light and Power credit is compared to the total value of the system. So even if it's not a huge system, you might be better off than not having total power in the system that you'll never be able to redeem the tax credit back or their usage credit back.
Right.
So if you're making all the power you're doing, you'll never get the credit. The credit on your user bill.
Okay.
If Will, I can do it quickly. If you want some numbers right now, I can rattle them off if you want some.
Sure.
That's in a 7 kilowatt system. So a 7 kilowatt system. So a 7 kilowatt system. So a 7 kilowatt system. Well, I'll tell you how many panels.
Each panel is about 3 feet 3.
So a 7 kilowatt system, yeah, so a 7 kilowatt system is approximately 25 panels, 25.4, but we don't do fractions, of course. So it's about 25 panels. So a 7 kilowatt system, the cost of that, if we were going cost, we'll do cost, the cost of that system, the gross cost would be $24,500. So that's the gross cost. Then if we take the federal tax credit, which is 30%, which is $73.50. That leaves $17,150, but then you subtract off $1,000 state tax credit. So that leaves a net cost of $16,150. So that's the net cost. So that's the cost out of your pocket, $16,150. Does that make sense? Offhand? Okay. That's installation. That's installation and everything. So then from there, how do you recoup the cost? That's what it's all about. To some extent, environment, economic, but basically, how do I recoup the cost, which is specifically your question. So then that 7 kilowatt system could very easily produce around 8,000 kilowatt hours for the year, a little over 8,000. So then that's somewhere around a $1,180 a year savings. Let's just call it round down for the sake of argument, $1,100 recoupment. So then, forgetting about inflation for a second, forgetting about inflation, so that's $1,180. Let's just, well, if we're forgetting about inflation, let's keep it $1,180. So $1,180 for the year. So we multiply that times, let's say 6 for right now. So over 6 years, that saves you about $7,100. So that's the utility savings part of it. But now there's you have to be compensated for the clean energy your system is producing. That system is producing somewhere around 8,000 kilowatt hours for the year. So how does that factor into your economics? So it's around 8,000 kilowatt hours for the year. So as far as the renewable energy you're compensated for over the 10 years, I'll just go over. I'll do it per year. So it's around 8,000 kilowatt hours for the year. That's somewhere around $1,700 for the year. You'll be compensated for your clean energy. That's the SREC. That's the SREC. So we'll call it about $1,700. So it's somewhere around the $10,000 range for over 6 years. It's somewhere around $10,000 over 6 years. So if you add those numbers together, I don't have them offhand, but I know you've been writing them down. You've already recouped your investment, I believe, in less than 6 years. Now, then it depends on, then your investment can be recouped even faster. Because I wasn't even taking any of the $5,000 credit that Hingham Light gives you on the bill. If you throw that into the mix, you recoup your investment even faster.
Now, if the SREC, the SREC will be there in a year?
No, SRECs, just to be clear, Will, you want to go? Just to be clear, this is, once you're in the system, you're in it for 10 years. The program is changing after this year for new people going into it, or perhaps next February or April. For new people going into it, you get into it now, you're into it for 10 years. That's why this year is kind of a magical year, because everything's changing for the state next year, and the value will be a big drop. The SREC marketplace has been changing over time, little dwindling over time a little bit, because that's what incentives are meant for. But this is going to be a big drop coming up at the beginning part of the year. That's why this year is very important. But even more than that, municipalities are not going to be in that new program. They're just simply not until something changes in the future. Right now they are. Next year for new people, they won't.
Yeah, on SRECs in the next 6 years, at $1,700.
I factored down some on that one to take into account the 6 years. So it does decrease over time. I give it about 5% over time. It does decrease.
So it's minor.
Yeah, it's not a lot, but it does. Over 10 years, it adds up. Yeah.
Okay.
On the system he's talking about, what would the approximate monthly bill be for Hingham Power if someone had that?
Good question. So what's my bill going to be with that? So that will totally depend on how much power you're using and what size system that we can install for you.
Let's use that as an example.
Well, so say that he was using the same exact amount as the power produced, then the bill would be very small outside of like a fixed customer charge.
25 panels on my roof, like the one he's talking about. The monthly bill or the yearly bill being currently from Hingham.
So the bill from Hingham has to do with the size of your system by, right, so say you're producing 7,000 kilowatt hours, right? If you're using 7,000 kilowatt hours, it's going to knock out the majority of your bill. If you're using 14,000 kilowatt hours, then it would cover half your bill. But keep in mind, if you don't use the entire amount, or if you don't cover the entire amount of your bill with this, with solar, Hingham has been very generous to add a credit that you could save up to $5,000 on the bill over and above what solar covers. So this is a very good question, but without having your system design and your usage, I can't give you an accurate answer, which is why it's important to sign up for the consultations.
My design now is 25 panels on my house. What would that?
What's your electric bill a month that you pay right now?
$120.
Okay, so can you do some math on? So just do 25 panels, how much that would produce, multiply by 15 cents a kilowatt hour.
The one thing to remember in Hingham is that, we pay about 15 cents per kilowatt hour. The town is going to credit 10 of that. So you get 10 cents credit. Okay, it's not like Eversource or National Grid. Because it's a municipality, you're not getting 100% net metering, you're getting 10 of the 14.7.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Sir?
Is there any difference for investment property?
So the investment property, the main thing you want to be concerned with there is the federal income tax credit. So if it's something that that can be a little dicey, I highly recommend talking to an accountant for the tax credit portion of that. Also, the bill will need to be in your name if you're looking at the zero down programs. So there are some nuances with that you can discuss with your consultant there.
Now, with the panels, do you fill the whole roof, or you just, leave a long roof?
Okay. So the question is, do we fill up the whole roof with panels or just a few? And the answer is that's totally up to you and a factor of your consumption. So if you have an extremely efficient home with a low electric bill, or you use other forms of heating, like you have oil heat that wouldn't obviously hit your electric bill, and a large roof, you may not have to fill up your entire roof. But that would be something we could say once you have your system design and discuss with your solar consultant there. Miss? Good question. So the answer is, or the question is, the warranty is for 20 years. Do the panels just shut off after that and you have to get new ones? Or what happens after that 20-year window? And the answer is that the panels have a manufacturer production guarantee of 25 years that they're guaranteed to produce at least 80% efficiency. So they will produce power, which will have long paid for itself after the 20 years. So it may be 30 to 50 years depending on your array.
I'd like to set incentives aside and just strictly talk about install costs. And I actually have two questions. My first question is, in speaking with other solar companies, they give a cost per watt.
Mm-hmm.
Is Direct Energy going to give a cost per watt, or like a typical contractor give labor, material, and overhead and profit breaking down the actual costs?
So we actually give everything in a cost per watt, which is what most solar companies do. It's very rare that you get a breakdown itemized.
Every house is different, and when you look at Massachusetts, actually, it's pretty good at reporting what the cost per watt is.
Right, right.
So you could see what the average, which is, in my opinion, an illusion, but how is it that we know that we're getting a true value for the product being installed?
So with the cost per watt, that takes everything into account. So it's not just the parts and labor, but it includes all of the warranties. It includes doing all the paperwork and the services associated with this. And the town has actually negotiated with Direct Energy Solar for a lower cost per watt. It's $350. Yeah. So so that's kind of like your all-in cost, so that it's a seamless process for you.
Also, so with relating to the system itself, what is the inverters that you use? What are the panels that you use? Are they American panels, like SunPower, or are they Chinese-made panels? Also, are each of the panels home run and with individual microinverters that will not have the sort of the unknown badness of solar, which is if they're all interconnected and one panel gets shaded, then they all step down? How is it that Direct Energy and some of the details associated with that?
Okay, so as far as the panels are concerned, we have Q cells, Hanwha Q cells panels as our base panel, and then the more efficient panel that is black on black is LG, which I'm sure everybody's familiar with that brand. As far as it's 275 watts for the Q cell Hanwha, 300 watts for LG. And to answer your second question was on what happens when some of the panels get shaded a little bit. So the older technology with the central inverter, that is linked in series. So if you think of Christmas lights, you get one light that goes out, and what happens to the rest of them? They all go out, right? How those are hooked up, there is a negative impact on all of the panels if one of the panels is shaded or down. Our higher quality technology has one microinverter under each panel, and those are hooked up in parallel. So if one goes down, then all of the other panels will still be operating at full capacity, which is extremely beneficial if you do have any shading, as the system will produce a little bit more for you.
How do you know if there's a failure to one of those inverters? If you're not producing power, how do you know that?
Yeah, so we would be able to see that through the online monitoring. So you'll actually be able to see your array on the online monitoring, and if one of the panels is black when the rest of them are blue, which means they're performing, then we would know that there's an issue there. Mm-hmm. Right.
And one second question. If you have, say I got a roof that's got to be replaced in 10 years, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And you put solar collectors up there, what's the added cost? What would it take to get those panels off the roof so you can put the roof down and then reinstall?
Yeah, so if I go solar, what happens when I need to replace my roof? So we do provide a service where we would remove all of the panels, store them for 30 to 60 days, and then reinstall all of them for you. We do not have a flat fee for that. We would just give you a quote, as we would not want to over or undercharge you, as our labor costs will be probably substantially different between today and 19 years from now. So we would just give you a quote on that service.
What would you do for like a 7 3W panels that we were talking about before, today? What would that, if you would take them off and put it back on?
Justin, would you like to take that one? So.
About 2 to 3,000.
2 to 3,000.
But it really depends on the size of the system and how many panels. That's why we definitely recommend, if you're near the end of the life expectancy of the roof, replace it.
All right. Yes?
I have a question about the panels themselves, as far as I live in a very weather intense place. And I
Yes.
Salt spring.
Okay.
And how do the panels and the inverter hold up to wind and to salt? Because that's an issue.
Right. And definitely one to consider, being right on the, right on the bay and the ocean here. So everything is stainless steel, so it'll hold up pretty well over time. I don't know if there's anything you want to add to that, Justin?
Just that everything, as far as wind, everything is engineered before we install the roof, so the maximum is already.
And the durability of the glass. I also have seagulls. I'm not talking about food. I'm talking they drop the shell, sometimes they're
Okay.
and they drop them and they frequently hit all over the yard in the house. And how does the glass stand up to that?
Seagulls are rascals, huh?
Most of the panels are tested to 3/4 scale for 75 miles an hour, so they're very robust.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's,
Really sucking at your roof.
yeah. So it is tempered glass. It'll.
Miles an hour wind is not uncommon at my house.
Right.
No, it's really
Right.
not.
Well, plus the fact that with anything falling on the panels, the roofs are almost variably angled, and the impact of anything falling on them is greatly reduced if any angle of the panels themselves. So the impact, the absorption is quite different than falling on falling on the ground, which is
What
where
happens if the panel does crack?
What's that?
You guys need to, if the panel does get cracked, then sure.
Yeah. Well, we can come out and take a look at it. It depends on the, if the production is affected and everything else. So we would come out and take a look at it for you.
Would that be recommended?
What's that? Well, it's good to get homeowners just so that it overlaps there on both of them. So once it affects production, then yeah, it would be. It would be something.
The reality is, the odds of it ever happening and impacting it are extremely rare that it will even happen. That it could be. The force would be greatly reduced. It's not dropping on pavement. An angled panel with a tempered glass that a fastball is shot at and starts driven over and doesn't crack. The odds of it cracking are extremely remote.
I've seen one panel damaged in my career, and that was an act of vandalism. It wasn't even something that, Mr. Cornell?
Just to give you some idea as far as the strength of the panels, I started with ASPEN about 5.5 years ago, and Justin was, I think, just starting also, and he was a lead installer. And I was sent out to watch an install, one of the first things that I did. And I couldn't believe that instead of starting at the top and moving down, they start from the bottom and move up. So what happens is they have the first row down. These guys actually have 1 or 2 panels they're holding and they're walking on the panels down below. So if you've got a 200, 250-pound guy with another 50-pound panel or 2, think of the strength of the panels. They're actually walking when they install. Is that true? Sure.
Yeah, they are extremely durable. Extremely durable, so we don't...
Today's cost to replace 1 panel, keep it damaged.
Well, it depends if it was covered or not. If it's covered, then it wouldn't be a cost. Okay. Yeah.
Say it breaks.
So you threw an anvil up there.
$1,000, what's it rough cost?
Justin, you wanna?
So if one were to break due to an act of God or something that was not covered under the warranty, we'd obviously come out and assess the situation and give you a price on that. But I would say typically it's $200 to $300 to fix it.
So a new panel. So you say that the insurance you recommend, obviously your homeowner's insurance is going to look at whether you're not going to have solar collectors, right? Mm-hmm. And what type of add is that to a cost for someone?
I pay about $6 a month for my system for my homeowner's insurance.
Pardon me?
I pay about $6 a month for my system on my homeowner's insurance.
And I think most companies don't try to make it, but you want like a rider.
Yes.
What if you have a full house generator? You said when power goes out, solar goes out. Is there a connection with solar generator?
Great question. So what happens if I have a backup generator and the power goes out? So the panels can actually tell the difference between the power coming off the grid and the power coming from a generator. The generator power is kind of, quote unquote, dirtier electricity. So it actually will still shut down. The panels will shut down, that is, if the grid goes down, and your backup generator will work just fine. Yes?
And I read this is on to solar, and I'm very much in favor of solar, that it may be a safety issue for fire or firefighters, fighting fire in home, solar.
Right. Good question. So the question was, is solar a safety hazard for firefighters? And the answer is no. So we actually have to install a disconnect switch on every install so that if something were to happen and a fire was to break out in your home, they would come out and hit the rapid shutdown switch, and within seconds the system is completely dead and the firefighters can do their job. Right. Well, you hit the north side of the roof, right? Yes.
Can I just say something about that? Because we
Sure.
already have a solar system in Hingham. So the fire inspector, we installed it almost 3 years ago. The fire inspector came to make sure that shutoff was there and accessible before we got the system turned off, basically.
Okay. All right.
So that firefighters know that, or?
Mm-hmm.
No. Ours is on the roof. Why it's on the roof, I'm not sure. I think that the fire department, I think it was behind our house, and the fire department said it had to be on the roof for the disconnect. And then it got moved, but I'm not really sure what happened. I know mine's on the roof.
Company also do training with local firefighters. So, and I believe a lot of solar companies do this, how to safely put out a fire with solar on the roof. So there's education on that side as well as safety measures.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I have a question. My understanding understanding is that in Hingham, you don't have just one single net meter. Is that right? Is it in Hingham, they have 2 meters?
Yeah, there would be an additional meter installed to keep track of the production of the panels. So, what's that?
That doesn't happen in every town, right?
And so either the meter will have to be swapped out, but usually there is an additional meter installed.
Great.
Yeah. Yep. I don't. Yeah. Paul?
There's only 2 meters that you own. First is your main meter, my direction. Delivers what you consume, receives what you actually the grid. The other meter is sold, which is just there just to measure the That's what the estimate.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Sir?
Get involved in changing the roof?
What's that?
Get involved in changing the roof?
Do you mean replacing the shingles? No, we're not the people that would replace your shingles, but that is a good question. No. No, we actually would prefer that you're not on the roof on top of them. The tempered glass can be pretty slippery. So if you look up and say it's springtime and you see a good amount of pollen accumulating up there, feel free to spray a hose up there, but please stay on the ground. But if it rains, Mother Nature takes care of that for you. So there's very little maintenance. That's correct. So we were. That's right. That's right. So we were Astrom Solar originally, and so we were a medium-sized solar installer in the Northeast, and we were acquired by Direct Energy in July of 2014. That gave us the strong financial backing and help growing and really kind of fine-tuning our go-to-market strategies.
If Direct Energy got pulled out, is there a possibility that the flooring will not be carried on to the company?
No, so Direct Energy is owned by Centrica, which is actually publicly traded in the UK, which is a huge corporation. So, yeah, so, right. Yeah, so we do have funding set aside to honor warranties if things would be moved, but we're not planning on making any changes anytime soon.
Sorry, going back to the meter question. So with 2 meters, the outgoing power is being calculated by 1 meter. Does the homeowner use the power before it goes back to the grid, or does it all go back to the grid and it's calculated and worked out?
Sure. Yeah, so it's a bidirectional meter, so it measures, both ways, and then so you are just charged the total amount you use as far as the net goes. So it's essentially how much is you use, just subtract how much you produce, and that's what your bill would be there. Okay.
Power all go out and then come back, or does it get used in the remainder?
It can be used. So, yeah. Sir?
Are you the sole provider for the Hingham base customers? There's no competition with?
There are other companies out there. Hingham has done a lot of research and due diligence to see which provider would do the best job for you, and our overall value package seemed to be the best fit for the Hingham program.
The Hingham decided that?
Mhm.
I'm just wondering, I'm interested, but is there a problem with pitches of roofs? Because the obvious roof for us to think about is a shed dormer, and an almost dead flat roof.
We can. Good question. So what happens if I have an outside of the ordinary install? We can install on flat surfaces. We can install on pitched surfaces. We can do ground mounts. There are an array of different solutions. So we would be able to share with you, with your solar consultation, exactly how many panels we could fit and the roof surfaces that we could install on.
Asphalt shingles, metal roofs are also on our windows.
Right. Okay. Yes.
We have had, since the 1980s, some panels on our roof heating our hot water directly.
Wonderful.
In a consultation, could your company help figure out whether, in fact, it would be better to just add panels to that? In other words, there'd be different options. There's the cells, there's the flame panels, but, or to take the whole array off and do it all with.
All right. Well, that's exciting. You went solar years ago.
Well, they were offering money then.
All right. And even more today. So if the solar thermal is still operating well for you, I don't see any reason why to change it. But you could look at your options if you were to remove it and fill it with panels, or just go with adding panels to the rest of your roof, on which would be the best fit for you.
And they could help us kind of calculate that.
Of course. Yes. Of course, Laura.
Hi, I'm Laura Burns. I'm a volunteer with Solar Hingham, and I just wanted to clarify the relationship of Direct Energy Solar to Solar Hingham to the municipal light plant. Solar Hingham is a community organization, and we chose as our partner installer Direct Energy Solar, and everybody who signs up under our program until July will get a group discount. So that's the big advantage here. However, any solar installer can review your home. The one requirement that the light plant has is some solar installers use a financial arrangement called a power purchase agreement, where the solar installer owns the panels and sells the power to you. That is not acceptable to the Hingham Municipal Light Plant. But any solar installer where you own the panels, whether you finance them or whether you pay outright, Hingham Light is glad to work with them.
All right. Thank you, Laura. All right, so it seems like we're a little short on questions now, so we'll wrap things up. Do we have one more?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think what your presentation was saying was that in terms of net metering, that if you produce more electricity than you use, you do not get any benefit for that from even
Right.
Okay, so, all right, so you do get credit for, okay. Well, I'm glad I asked.
Okay. All right, well, with that, we're going to wrap up the presentation. Feel free to talk to any of the solar consultants here and sign up for one of our free consultations. Again, you'll get a $50 Amazon gift card for getting some information on your home to see if it's a good fit for you, and then you can decide what to do from there. So thank you very much for coming out this evening.